That's a massive question.
It is.
So there's three things that I advocate then. So one is start small. Massive wholesale change is really hard. So start small. And there's different ways to start small. So starting small might be using the innocuous questions at the start of meetings. Another one might be having emotional check-ins and check-outs at the start of one-to-one discussions, or again at the start of team meetings or project meetings. Doing around the room, 3 words, how you feeling today? With no, and this links into my second point, which I'll come on to in a minute. But yeah, 3 words, like 3 words, how you feeling today? Also, things like if you struggle to label the emotion itself, that's okay. Start small and label the sensation. Label how it feels physically in you. So rather than saying, "Oh," because of the work I've done, I'm quite familiar with what different physiological sensations associate with different emotions for me. So I can do that quite well. But I've been playing with this stuff for 20 years. But I think beginning with, I just feel tense in my shoulders, or I feel like my shoulders are around my ears, or feel like I just want to get up and move, or I feel like there's something in the way. So don't worry about labeling the emotion too much. Just label the sensation that you're feeling, or label the action that you want to take. So a bit like you said, oh, I want to move forward. I want to look forward on these things. Label the action or the sensation is another way for me of starting small. The second one then is about stop fixing. So if you're a manager, stop trying to fix things for people. So if someone says, I feel like something's in the way, I feel like my shoulders are around my ears, any of those things. So don't try and fix it and ask a couple of questions instead. And they can be, and there's a phrase that I was trained once when I was in customer services, and that was to ask TED questions. So TED being tell me more, the E being explain, and the D being describe. So if someone says, I feel like I just want to move forward, tell me more about that. Feel like I've just got my shoulders are around my ears. Okay, describe how that feels then. Or I feel like I'm being pulled in two different directions. So explain to me the directions that you're being pulled in. So you don't need to come up with really beautifully formed questions. You can just be beginning with tell me, explain, or describe, and then using the words that the person used in their sentence or their utterance, and then put them back in the question, and off you go. You can find out some more. So I would say, yeah, start small, stop fixing. So stop trying to fix everything. And then the third one is to really listen. So often as humans, we listen because we expect that it's going to be our turn next, or it's going to be our turn soon. And so we listen to be able to reply. And so what I advocate for is listen just to listen. You might respond at some point as well, and listen, just really listen. Give that person all of your attention. Try and put everything else to one side and just listen to what that person's got to say, because you'll often hear so much more than you would do normally. So yeah, those three things I would say. Start small, stop fixing, and really listen.
Okay, that's good. And I think what I'm getting from what you're saying as well too is like people just aren't necessarily in touch with their bodies and their emotions. So how do you surface that too? Because for me, I've started meditating and ever since the pandemic started, and that's been really helpful. Not everybody's open or appreciates what the benefits of meditation. What other solutions are there? Obviously, other than coaching and hiring a professional, it's an aspect
Yeah,
of self-care that we don't really talk about, right? Like it's not just baths and spas and massages and what else can we do that helps us move forward?
yeah. So I think for the being in touch with the physical sensations side of things, there's a couple of things that I advocate for. So one of those is to have a body map image. So it's a little bit crude, but if you think about the classic kind of gentlemen's and ladies' toilet signs, and having one of those and saying, let's draw that out then. And how does that feel? A temperature. So first, sorry, let me try that again. So first of all, where is it? So where in the body is it? Secondly, temperature. How does it feel? And and again, it's probably overly simplistic, and I'm okay with that. Using hot and cold. So how does it feel? So where is it? What temperature is it? And does it move? Because often emotion feelings will move around the body. And sometimes people will say to me, I don't know, or they're just stuck and I don't know what. Okay, that's fine. So just go for your best guess as to where you think it is. That's a way that we can start to get it out of here and into something that I can look at in a bit more of an objective way, or I can look at in a slightly detached way. So rather than the sensation being here, it's out. So a body map illustration can be quite useful. I would also say part of this is around attention work, and it's about paying attention to something, which links in, I guess, in a way to meditation. Because if you look at someone like John Kabat-Zinn, for example, his definition of mindfulness is about paying attention in a particular moment as if your life depended on it. So you're giving like all of your attention to that one thing. And what meditation is often trying to do is to get you to focus your attention on one thing, normally your breath, and how that moves through maybe your nose or your mouth, or changes the rise and fall of your chest or stomach. But to be attentive, you need time. So if you want to have a better connection with how emotions feel in you, you need to give yourself the time to notice those things. And if the way you organize your day is call 9 till 10, call 10 till 11, call 11 till 12, lunch 12 to 12:30, otherwise known as intake of fuel, call 12:30 to 1:30. If you don't give yourself the time to do that work, then it's not going to get done. You're not going to notice in that way. So I'm a big advocate for booking time in your diary for what I would call restorative actions. So those restorative actions might be going for exercise if exercise is your thing. It might be meditating